Gardening seems to come naturally for some. The rest of us, well, we might need a formula, some rules of thumb to create a collection of flowers with abundant blooms. The groundwork for that starts right now. So while you're waiting out the blustery spring weather, formulate your flower bed plan. Susie Jones is an expert in flower bed design, and I'm really excited to have you here because last year I planted what I thought were going to be beautiful flower boxes and they all died. So this is something that we can start planning now to have a successful blooming summer.
It's the perfect time to plan.
So what's the first step? How do we get started in this whole idea of planning everything out?
So the first thing is to make sure that you have a good plan. That's the key, is to make sure that you're planning well in advance so that you know what you like and that you can have a good plan going in to the nursery so you don't overbuy. And so if you have a good plan, then you're going to have a good base for your flower
And so
beds.
Are we getting really technical here? I mean, are we measuring and calculating, and what are we doing?
It's best if you can calculate. The formula that I use is very simple. It's easy to use. So if the very first thing that we can do is to measure out your flower beds, and if you calculate to get the square footage, all you need to do is take the length times the width of your flower bed, and that'll give you your square footage.
Okay, so we're starting with the square footage, and where are we going from there?
So once you get that, the way that I design is in annual beds, which an annual plant, we plant in the spring and you pull it up in the fall. It will only last one season here in Utah. And the way I design that, we use 2 plants per every square foot.
Okay.
And that sounds like a lot, but we'd like to have nice full flower beds for a few reasons. Number one, it will cut down on weeds. If the weed seeds don't see the sun, they can't germinate.
Which is a big one.
Which is a big one. Number two, it will help with the water retention. It'll help so that you don't have to water quite so much.
Okay.
And then if you happen to lose a plant or two, you don't see the holes quite as much.
Quite as noticeable, and it looks prettier when they're fuller.
It does.
And blossoming over. So not all plants are created equal. So when you're going through this and you're looking for 2 plants per every foot,
every square
foot, you said. How are we doing that? There's 3 different types of plants.
There are, and the good thing is that we don't want them to be equal. We want to have interest, to create interest. We want a variety of different heights and textures and colors. So we have a foolproof method that works every time. This system that we use was developed actually by the late Peter Lasig, he was a brilliant landscape architect. And so we use it's called skeleton, tendon, and flesh.
Okay.
So
skeleton, what is that?
Okay, so skeleton plants, they are normally, they're taller, they have a lot of structure, and they're just really nice, sturdy plants.
Okay.
So we calculate about 20% of the design will be in those types of plants.
Okay.
And there's some really nice plants that you can use for these skeleton type plants. I've listed just a few. Some of the ones we use are ornamental cabbage and kale. They end up being about 18 to 24 inches when they're all done.
And those are skeleton plants?
Those are skeleton plants.
Okay.
These are all yes, we're talking about.
Okay.
The giant zinnias will get about 24 inches.
I love the zinnias.
Cleome is also a really nice skeleton plant. We also like to use ornamental grasses are a really nice one because they have a lot of movement in your garden, and that's a fun one. And rudbeckia. Excuse me.
Say that 5 times fast.
Rudbeckia is black-eyed Susans, but there's a really nice variety that's called Indian Summer, and that's a good one for an annual.
Okay. And then the next one are the tendon plants.
The tendon plants, that's right. So the tendon plants, they complement and support the skeleton plants, and we use about 30% of the design of those types of plants. So some of the tendon plants that I like to use are profusion zinnias. They're a little bit shorter than, of course, the giant ones. Geraniums are a really nice tendon plant as well. I mean, they come in a variety of colors, and they're just awesome. There's a really nice, coleus is really nice to use now as well. They have a variety that's called the sun coleus, and you can use them in the sun.
Okay.
And then we also like to use plants that are, let's see, what else do we have? We have, one of my very favorite is called black pearl. It's an ornamental pepper, and it adds this beautiful dark color in your garden. And if you've never used it before, you need to try it.
Black pepper. Okay, one to remember.
Black pearl ornamental pepper, and then salvia. I mean,
love salvia.
It's a great one to use, and it just always performs well.
Okay, and then moving down, we have the flesh plants.
Exactly. Yep, that's the next one. So the flesh plants, we use about 50% of the plants then left. And those are like lower growing, creeping type of plants, and they just fill in and they bring the whole design together. So there's a lot of plants that we can use for that. They're just lower growing. Calibrachoa is a really nice one that we can use. If you have never used Calibrachoa, I want you to try that. Another one of my favorites is San Vitalia. They look like a teeny tiny little sunflower. They're really fun. And then verbena is a nice one. We like to use verbena a lot. A lot of people use sweet potato vine in their pots, but they've never thought to use it in the ground, and it's beautiful in the ground. It really spreads and just creeps through the design, and it's a really, really nice one. And then, of course, one that everybody usually uses is lobelia, and that comes in a variety of colors as well, and it's a really nice one to fill in. So.
And is there a way to have these? I mean, are you keeping the skeletons in the middle and then moving out with the tendons and the flesh? Are you mixing it?
I like to mix it up. You'll notice when you go up into the mountains, I mean, nothing's planted in rows, and I like to do more of a natural look as well. So if you can kind of, I mean, of course you want the taller things in the middle and you kind of work your way out, but I like to have things kind of, I like to have a variety, and as you can see in some of my designs, you kind of have to look around, and you have to see, you're not going to see everything right at once. You're going to have to look around. So that's how I like to do it.
What about when it comes to color? You mentioned that dark kind of black plant, but what else should we keep in mind?
Color's really important because it really can set the tone for your design. And you need to be careful with color. I mean, you need to choose colors that are going to make you happy. I mean, everybody's got favorite colors, and it's really important that you're choosing things that are good, that you like. There's warm colors and there's cool colors, so depending on the look that you're trying to get in your garden, if you're trying to attract attention and if you're trying to maybe have curb appeal, then you want to use these vibrant, warm colors, reds, yellows, orange. Those are going to attract attention. Whereas with the cool colors, the purples, blues, greens, those are going to recede and be very calming.
Okay. All right, well, such great things to keep in mind. Tell us what we can look forward to seeing at the Botanical Garden this year.
Oh, we have a lot of things going on right now. It's a great time of year to plan, like I said, and kind of it's still too early to get out and plant, but you can start planning, and you can prepare by taking classes. You can learn how to do things right now. We've got a lot of classes online. If you go to garden.usu.edu, you can learn all kinds of things. You can take online classes. You can do watch videos of how to do almost anything. So, and you can become a member of the garden, and you can get discounts at all of our nursery partners. So it's a great time to learn some things.
All right, thank you so much, Susie. We appreciate you stopping by.